Welcome to another reaction video. Today we're going to be checking out Overtonight's Shotgun, brought to you by, suggested by, Phantom. Thank you so much. And I've been recommended this one a lot, so I'm kind of excited a bit because I've been told it's quite the good one, at least based on the amount of times I've been recommended it. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we?
I'm gonna blow my brain with a shotgun. It's been 6 months.
Okay.
Last time we talked, then I'ma fall off stage when I perform in Boston, cause I'm so outraged by the way that I lost her. Woke up this morning to my girl gone. I'm trying to figure out what I did so wrong. Was it something I said, or maybe something I did, and I just wanna be dead whenever I'm in my crib. I'm gonna blow off my head from my own death.
Okay, so pretty on theme with the rest of his music. We have the girly back again. Yeah, I mean, generally, right, for anybody who's been in that kind of situation, that relationship where you have those kind of people you think about quite often, man, can it become kind of overwhelming sometimes. And like it does become sitting alone in your room thinking about all the shit you did wrong and all the things that you said that maybe made it all go downhill. And certainly, I think that could be an inkling to kind of when things are being a bit mischievous, a bit negative, when you're consistently thinking like that. Not to say that it's wrong that you want to care about the person you care about and they're going to, you know, be in your head. But I think consistently, you know, feeling like you want to die. Ugh, I've been there. And I relate to that a lot. So, to all those out there, just know it does pass. You just got to figure out how to do something else. Fucking, you know, JO or something. go do something else other than think about it. Trust me. And you're not going to want to do anything else but think about it and look further into it. But trust me, you just have to figure out how to break that cycle. Holy shit. It's so painful. It's such an asshole. Yeah. I want to be something I'm not, and yeah, you know. Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of the time, you know, I don't even know if it'd be necessarily to say like dysmorphia, perhaps, whether that be body or personality, or you know, whatever. We all have those times where like, you know, I kind of have this, you know, image in your head of who you want to be, this fucking Superman or Superwoman, whoever, you know, whatever it may be, and you know, you really want to be that person, not just for yourself, but a lot of the time heightened and inspired by the people that you love the most. And a lot of the time it can feel incredibly daunting and incredibly heavy, weight-wise on your shoulders, to do and be those things. And yeah, a lot of the time there are such high expectations. I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of people want to be that thing, and that's okay to be that thing, but you have to do it through a realistic lens. A lot of the time you set things way too high and you fail, and then you get into thought processes like these, which is that like, you know, I'm a failure, I'm this and that, and not only do I know it, but they know it. It becomes a magnifying glass of the ray of disappointment upon your soul that just starts to burn you even more when other people are the kind of reason you want to be these things. And I mean, relatable. Again, you just got to kind of figure out that set expectations, not necessarily low, but maybe accurately more attuned to what you believe is achievable even at the lowest setting of the day, you know. And it's better to you know, promise and over deliver. That's my motto there for you. So take that. Yeah. That too. And it can become a lot of, you know, clearly the first part, you know, he thinks he's disappointing. Maybe he thinks he's unsatisfactory. He's not the person that he wants to be. And a lot of that probably comes from a lens of, again, that outside source looking in. And it can become toxic, not just to yourself, but you could think to yourself, well, I'm trying to do all this for this person and they're kind of making me feel bad. You can think of their maybe dismissiveness, or perhaps maybe their just lack of awareness of the situation you're in, because how would they know? You're probably not explaining it to them. This is a mental war happening inside your own head, completely eluded, of the people around you. You can maybe sometimes turn on these individuals thinking that they're the ones that are causing you all the issues. But in reality, it's just not the case. It's just your own expectations pulling you by the rope, trying to hang you with it. So you gotta really, it can be dangerous. It's a pitfall for sure. So watch out. Yeah. Maybe she is, yeah, maybe she is though. I've seen a lot of these songs. So in my opinion, as a person who's listened to a lot of music, less than not just this song, this person does seem toxic to him. So I'm sure it's not black and white and that he's not the one to fully blame. I just want to be clear about that. But, those are kind of the general thoughts that I have thinking about the things he's saying. So I also like this like little demon version of Pac-Man swallowing hearts. Oh my God. Yeah. And you know what? He's right. What have I said this whole time? Okay. I've said here, repeated it. And I've said in the past songs that I really don't think that this woman that he's after is also a good person. I don't think he's really, not a bad person, but, maybe not emotionally secure and stable for relationships, and perhaps find themselves in a lot of positions like these because of that. Not totally at their fault. We're all, a general kind of product of our, upbringing and situations and scenarios. But, generally, I think it's a bad situation to be in these kind of, and they're a match made in heaven. They're both probably the same kind of person, or if not a mixed match, but, same exact ballpark of kind of not ready for this. And they're fucking each other up. This is certainly, I want to hear her music. Where's Mrs. Overtonight? I want to hear her side of the story. So I'm sure it'd be a lot of the things he says, but on the opposite perspective, I would guess. But it's, I think they're both snaking each other. I think is my theory. What does that lyric say? Hold on. It's kinda problematic when I'm chasing peace. Yeah. A lot of time you can find yourself, people go for relationships because they feel maybe lonely and they feel, depressed, and of course, right? And the solution is that. And I think that might be, I've learned in my own life, I think that not fully theorized yet and not totally thought out, and everything is a bit nuanced. So, this doesn't apply universally, but for my own life, I've come to realize that you cannot do that. If you yourself are not stable already, finding these kind of people, your relationships, wanting to be in one will not typically fix it. Or at least if it does, your current scenario, your current lens of searching for that individual is obscured. It's translucent, but not clear. It's or not translucent, transparent, opaque. It's an opaque magnifying glass that you're looking for. You're not seeing things fully for what they are, and that is dangerous because you're going to find yourself in scenarios much like this one, like he finds himself in, like she finds herself in, where you're depressed, you're sad, you're making bad decisions, you're emotionally kind of unaware of all the bad choices you're making, and you're emotionally driven, and it can become a tornado that just funnels you down to the shit stir of bad relationship experiences, which are things that you can't turn back. Once you have it, you have it. You got that badge, that merit badge on your vest, on your sash. So, just be careful and try to fix yourself first. It sucks to say that, and it sucks to do that. And it really, it's hard to do that, really hard, but you can do it. You can. And trust me, if you do it, you'll thank yourself after. You'll be like, oh my God, Red was right again. tip off my hat. Okay, write about it, and you'll feel so much better that you didn't take the path that many people kind of like overnight. Not again to victim, like, you know, not to pin it all on him or to say he's wrong, but, you know, fall into this kind of victim scenario where you are like this. Again, not to shame him, not to hate him. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's a nice person, probably. You know, I'm just saying, scenario wise, you know, don't end up on down this pathway.
Problematic when I'm chasing peace.
Got a little gaming going on. Is it Doom? Are we playing Doom? It could have been a cockademon, and he's got the double barrel. Granted, it wasn't in the center of the screen, so it had to be a newer Doom, but, you know, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. I like Doom. I really like Doom, and that's what I'm thinking. So there you go. Overtonight Doom fan confirmed. Oh, what was that? What the hell was that? Oh, that was like a weird little... I liked it. It's like a little weird gap there. Okay, emphasizing the man in the back, the man in the shadow watching. Subconscious, perhaps? Other personality, perhaps? Okay, we could imagine many things. There's a lot. You'll battle with yourself a lot, and I'm assuming that's what that was in reference to. Two different sides of this person that we just got to witness, which is super cool. I like that.
It's been 6 months since the last time we talked, and I'ma fall off stage when I perform in Boston, 'cause I'm so outraged by the way that I lost her.
Oh, yeah. Okay. To be, you know, honest, not talking for 6 months, again, this is prime time, and like I've been in this pretty much exact scenario where I think 6 months into not talking to somebody straight, and you weren't the one to like maybe connect that, you know, or disconnect that, I should say, and it can be very incredibly overbearing in your mind consistently to think about that. And the only thing I could say is that at that point in time, you have to drop it. And I think this is probably a thought that you would have already had by now, and that you should move on from it, from the scenario of the person. What I'll say is that you don't have to move on, because I know you're not going to want to, but what you should do is understand that it is no longer in your court. The ball is in their hands, and it is up to them. As I've said previously, I believe I have said something similar to this. It is up to them to kind of make that connection again. It's up to them to contact you first. So you can just go on and just try to live your life as much as possible, essentially as if they don't exist, not worrying about needing to talk to them, or not worrying about what they're doing, or not anything at all. You just need to do your own thing, and when they come, if they come, then they do. And if not, you would have arrived there all the same, but with less mental pain from the overthinking, because I've been there. I'm an overthinker. That's typically the kind of suffrage funnel. It's what happens. So save yourself some pain, save yourself some unnecessary trauma, and just drop it as hard as that will be. And in this, you know, consistently thinking about how you lost her. That's fun. You know, what a fun, been there, relatable, and done that. And boy, oh, am I so sorry to hear that. Because, you know, that's the thing. That's something, again, like I said before, you're going to consistently think about, and it's going to be this boomerang of bad thoughts that's just going to continuously come back to whack your ass in the head. It's horrible. You just got to try to figure out how to dodge it, or fucking grab that shit and toss it somewhere else that it don't come back to you, because it'll never end otherwise. So Yep. I like that. Headphones on, bumping Overtonight songs. I like that. We'd be doing that, you know. I know a lot of people watching could be doing that. So, you know, little nod there. He knows, and you know that's good that he gives himself a little self kind of uplift there, especially in a song like this, where it's consistently a theme that is, it's a lot of being in the same place, this repetition of sadness and, overthinking. Overtonight. and yeah, it's good. This is a good thing. Pump yourself up, don't ride the highs when you can. Don't ride it all the time or you'll burn yourself out and be in that dark depression way harder than you think you'll be, than you'll ever could have been, so treat it, with some care, but this is good. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Change up. The comment on that though, I'll go back just so we can catch that while it happens. Claiming that when somebody comes back to you, if they have talked now, I guess, I don't know, but claiming that you owe them and it, I don't even know what that could mean. I immediately assume suffrage and pain, perhaps literally financial, but generally maybe they're talking about how it is like emotional pain, that they owe them some kind of answer, which, in my opinion, a lot of people maybe would say, no, you don't owe somebody something. I think it's healthy in a relationship to give answers to questions and for both of you to be equal and able to do that to a degree that maybe is not equal, not necessarily you answer this question, I'll answer this, but just answer the questions that are being given. And if there's more for one party than the other, who cares? Get the questions you need to feel secure, safe, and stable at the end of the day. The ones that you have been, losing sleep over, have been eating away at your soul night after night, that have consistently brought you these kinds of pains. Those are the kinds of answers that you should look for and the questions you should ask. And again, another reason why you should also, that 6 months thing, long periods of time of not talking to somebody. If somebody does that to you and they know you, and especially if you're like me, okay, this kind of goes more for those overthinkers out there, they know, especially if you've told them, if you're like me and you've told many people you're an overthinker and that you take things and you maybe you look into things too far and whatever, and you have to apologize a lot. I'm that way. If they do something like that to you, they very much should be aware, maybe not in the moment when they do the thing, maybe they are just acting, but they should be aware after that amount of time of how painful and how much of a fucking just absolute horrible thing that is to do to somebody who's an overthinker, somebody who thinks too hard into all the things and then, overanalyzes things. What they have damned you to is pain, suffering. Okay. So you should understand that should be more of a reason to kind of turn tail, not forever, but just not to focus on it. Let them decide that it's their job to come back and fix this, not yours. Okay. Because they owe you that, at least, if they're the one that has disconnected this in this way. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. Okay. Yeah. Little change up. Yeah. Okay. And again, I don't know if that's a cool little thing. I don't know, because the demon's in the background in one of these. Let me see. Right? In the background. Again, the person in the background previously was kind of a normal person. Maybe, again, this is more of a darker subconscious that he's kind of, he's giving allude to, or maybe he's demonizing her. I don't know. Perhaps. I don't know. I'm going to take it as he's demonizing his own subconscious, those thoughts in the back of his head, that kind of feelings that keep perpetuating and showing their face in times when they should be gone by now. They should be out of his head, and they're haunting him, or a demon over his shoulder looking at him all the time. Yes, that's a good way to, in my opinion, really personify that kind of feeling. And that's how it is. That's how it be. That's how it be. Okay. So good. I think it is sometimes good to personify these things, not to a psychotic level, but any way that allows you to express it understand it's happening, personifying those emotions, and then attributing it to that pain, and to realize that it's from the inside, and to attack it from that kind of perspective, to realize you cannot be that person, that you are standing up not only to the individual who did this, that made that personification exist, but that the personification exists within you, and that you aren't fully stable. You're not fully complete, and there's a side of you that really wants to ruin your development, your progression, and that happens. It's not your fault. It's not bad. It's normal, and you should really look at it introspectively and solve those problems before they lead you down a depressive hole that can lead to some really unfortunate events for some people. Take it seriously. Wow. This is going to be another Bobby moment. I know he's going to be like, oh, how long is this song? The minute 52. Here we at 21 minutes of talking. I had a lot to say. Okay. This was a really good song. I really liked it. Again, the messaging, perfect. I think he describes his kind of way of experiencing these emotions and expressing them in a very good way. That's relatable. And personally, I think is good to kind of be able to, as an individual like myself, express the reality of the situations. There's a lot going on, although it seems simple, and it's a less than 2-minute song. He packs a lot in there, at least I think. So wow, what an amazing song. Thank you so much for watching. As always, the original song will be linked in the description below. Please go watch it if you have not. If you have watched it, go watch it again. You can give it another view, and I'll also link Overtonight's channel in the description below. Please go subscribe. We love supporting our reactions here. Please like if you like, comment if you have any other suggestions, and share the video if you really want to help me, because that gets more eyes on the video. So please share it anywhere you want. And yeah, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you when I see ya. Bye.